welcome to episode 168. Here we go to be great, gracefully and frankly. I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brandt. How you doing?
Good. The waning days of our vacation here, the waning days of the Paralympics, they wrap up this Sunday. Yeah, for a while there, Ukraine was tied for the most medals, and that felt so good, but now they're tied for third. I don't know. You just root for all of the athletes and everybody who's doing something that you cannot imagine ever as an able-bodied person. But can you imagine skiing down a hill and having somebody guide you to tell you where to turn? We don't trust our GPS.
No, there's absolutely no way.
Oh my gosh. So inspiring and making Canada proud, of course. So, how is meteorological spring treating you these days?
It's a bit of a mixed bag because we have, of course, tons of rain, which always gets people down at the harbor a little bit nervous because when the ice starts to break up, if there's too much rain and the ground doesn't absorb the water, then the ice comes up on shore. And we've had years here where so much sludge and mud and everything comes up that the marinas almost had to be rebuilt. And it's always a little bit dicey.
I guess so. Well, everybody was seeing that footage from Meaford, thanks to Environment Canada, of the great ice floods. But you were reminding me that this happens somewhere near you guys almost all the time, right?
Yeah, it does. It all depends on how quickly it gets mild and how much rain we get and that kind of thing. But I mean, we'll go a couple years and there's nothing. And then one year it'll be just awful. So you just never know. But it's part of the experience of living near the lake. And it's one of the reasons that we are up on the hill. I won't go through the whole history, but the oldest houses in Port Stanley are up here because they first settled down there by the river and then experienced this in the early 1800s. And so that's why they moved all these houses up here with horses and stone boats. And yeah, it's kind of neat. You kind of wonder, why are the ancient homes way up here? But yeah, that's the reason why.
Kind of a new take on a mobile home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Lisa's in Port Stanley, Ontario, and the reason I'm kind of reintroducing us is I tell everybody who says, well, are you retired? No, I do a couple of podcasts, and one of them is Gracefully and Frankly with Lisa Brent. Lisa's in Port Stanley. Right now, I'm in Nueva Vallarta near Puerto Vallarta until, well, for another week and a half. Oh, but Lisa, I have to tell you, I went with a couple of friends downtown to the Malecon to downtown Puerto Vallarta on Sunday for International Women's Day. Had a great day out, but there wasn't a sign of any of the turmoil of 2 weeks earlier. Not a sign, except perhaps for clean plywood boarded over the windows of a couple of OXXO convenience stores that had been destroyed.
Right. Well, you would think they would get it cleaned up pretty quickly with it being such a hot spot for tourists. I'm glad that it hasn't lingered and everybody just picks up and moves on.
Yeah, they do. And to anyone who had any qualms about coming down here, it's over. Yes, there's an undercurrent and it will always be here, but it's one of those things where you go, things can happen wherever you travel, right? And I don't have to tell you that because you're going to Europe in not too long, Easter weekend.
Yeah, Eastern Europe. So we're going to be as far away from all the fighting as you can possibly get, except that Ukraine and Poland share a border. But we're talking like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away.
Good.
It's nothing to be concerned about. If it was, we wouldn't be going. Yeah, we're not worried about it at all.
But if people let worries and possibilities and what ifs keep them from traveling and having adventures or even stepping outside their front door, we'd never do anything.
That's right.
Yeah,
it does give you pause that, okay, this is a war and there are missiles and all sorts of stuff. But when you drill down and look at the reality, it's no different than going to someplace that's earthquake prone.
Yep.
There's so many other things that could be happening. Although it should be fine, but we're going to be in Budapest the day after their major election. So we're going to just keep an eye on the news and make sure everything goes smoothly there. I'm sure it will.
Well, maybe Ian Hannah-Mansing's producers will be calling you, too, for a report, Lisa.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Hey, we were just talking about the weather and about you doing a report. I hope that everybody has had a chance to go to our Gracefully and Frankly page and see the little video that Lisa put together of herself as an interviewer talking with Someone ostensibly working for Environment Canada with a sun hat and sunglasses, Lisa, really?
And a scarf, a winter scarf.
Love to look.
I really appreciate that, but these things take a long time to do. We scroll through this stuff on social media and just like it's nothing and go, oh, I don't like that. I like that. It takes forever to do this kind of stuff and get it right. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can't stand the way that they're doing it now, and I know a lot of people feel the same way with the yellow, orange, and red warnings. Do you know how many times this winter, Aaron, I had to say, we have a yellow snow warning, yellow snow warning, yellow snow warning? Like, come on.
What does that even mean?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Exactly.
It's a snow warning in the yellow range. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, they're trying to make it a thing. I'm not sure if it's going to help people to understand what's coming, and half the time it doesn't anyway. So why don't they just make it like the Wheel of Fortune or something? You know, like if you go on one of those foreign websites to buy something, you spin the wheel and see what your discount is. Find out what your weather will be today, right?
That's probably just as accurate. I just wish they would do it in human terms and just say it's going to be wet this morning, we're going to have rain, then it's going to taper off, we'll have a cloudy afternoon. Like, they don't need to be this fancy about it, but whatever.
Oh, or at least put a jingle to it. Sesame Street was so good about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ladybugs at the Ladybug
Yellow,
Picnic.
orange, red.
Yep, yeah, yellow or red. Stay in bed. You talked about travel giving you pause, and of course, this is too precious a segue, but I have 8 little paws traveling with me right now, and I may just live longer.
Yes, you might, because, and you know, I am dog envious right now. I saw a dog the other day when we went out for a walk, and I was just over there petting that thing in 2 seconds. I can't get enough of dogs. I miss having a dog in my life, and this research shows a really good reason why. It says, actually, there's been a bunch of studies, but this is the latest one that says, if you have a dog, you'll be healthier and live longer. And it makes perfect sense. A dog is associated with lower blood pressure, better heart health, better recovery after a heart attack or stroke.
What?
Yep, a lower risk of dying from all causes over 10 years. And they think that it's because a dog gets you off your butt to go for a walk. How many times do you say to me, I'm just going to walk the dogs? I'll talk to you after I walk the dogs, or I'll be back in after I walk the dogs. Dogs need to be walked. So that means you need to be walked.
That's right. And I try and make it at least 1,000-step walk, or 4,000 each for them with their little short, tiny legs.
That's right. They're so low to the ground.
Yeah. Just a short walk. It's not doing any of us good. And it's not just that they want to do their business. This is the best time of the day for them. And boy, did they let you know it.
Oh, yeah. It's their chance to get out and feel social and read the news. Or as you have said once, their P-mail.
Check their P-mails. Yeah.
Right. Another thing that they thought in this study was that, especially for people who are single, a dog is really good for your mental health because there's somebody there who cares, somebody you can talk to. I mean, oh my goodness. I remember growing up having conversations with the family dog that I couldn't talk to other people about, or when I was crying, the dog would come and put its head on my lap, and just be there for comfort.
Yeah. And whether we're anthropomorphizing them and saying that they understand our feelings, I think a lot of them do, or at least they know mommy's face is leaking and something's wrong, right?
Cat owners shouldn't feel left out, though, because studies have shown a cat is also associated with a lower risk of dying from a heart attack or stroke because cats provide stress relief. They certainly don't give you the exercise, though. At least mine doesn't.
Well, I knew you'd have to get your 2 cents in there for cuddles and for cats and for cat people. And we love cats, too. I mean, we always have. But right now, sometimes cats and dogs together might be a little too much, including figuring that, the litter box is somebody has put out some bits and bytes. But anyway.
Oh, no.
Yep. Oh, there is something to help your dog on those walks, and there's nothing sadder than to see an older dog just kind of shuffling along. It's a product of age, and he or she has given their person so much love in too short a lifetime. But Sierra Sil, the product we talk about every week for minerals and for your joints and for pain, they also have a pet version. And you can get 14% off Leaps and Bounds Soft Chews, a natural joint supplement for dogs using volcanic minerals to reduce stiffness, alleviate inflammation, and support mobility. Dogs love them, and I can tell you from personal experience with older dogs, honest to God, Pepper was at a point he couldn't jump up on the bed. Sierra Sil helped him to do that. It was just
Mm.
incredible. Check it out. There's so much there to see.
Go to the website Sierra Sil, Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com. There's a whole bunch of different options, and you can use your code GF to get 14% off your purchase.
And for people, too. Well, we'll be flying with our dogs 1 week today. Oh, my goodness, it's coming up. And thankfully, they're quiet. But it's people who make noise on airplanes that are getting attention. Finally, this is great news.
If you play your sound on a device without earbuds or AirPods or headphones, they take you off the plane.
That's the rumor. I'm hoping midair.
Oh my goodness.
Anybody listening to anything without either headphones or AirPods or whatever, no. And oh my God, stop it with the speakerphone conversations. We don't all need to hear about it.
I just can't believe people still do it. Every time it happens, it's like, how can you be on this planet and not know that is just so offensive and annoying and irritating and, not to mention, does the person on the other end know that you are blasting their conversation to everybody?
Ooh, that's a good point. That is a good
Yeah.
point. I know that my iPhone makes my ear itchy. I know menopause, itchy ears, it's a thing. And there's something about either the warmth of the phone or the vibration of the call or whatever, my ear gets itchy. So if I'm in the house, I'll put it on speaker and I usually walk around because that's just what I do. But in public, no. And I think it all comes down to spatial awareness, like people sitting in airport terminals watching a funny video or a music video or even a movie, and they have no care for the other people around them.
Yeah, it's just astounding to me. It's like they think they're in their living room, which is the place where you can do that with impunity. I mean, fill your boots, yell, I'll do what you want, right? There's never going to come a time when everyone understands the current etiquette, I don't think. And it's up to us to put them in line. And if that means tossing them out of an airplane and hanging them by a headphone cord, well, that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, and they could be banned from the airline as well. I don't know that that's going to happen, but they're giving it a try. That's one of the first steps, after the airlines in the States started charging for bags, so did Canadian ones, charging for bags, charging for this, charging for that. So they're trying to win back a bit of goodwill. And of course, with children, people are reluctant to put headphones on them, but there are volume limiters. There are ways to protect your children's hearing. So everybody just be quiet and we'll be fine. It'll all be good.
That goes for buses, trains, subways, everything.
And it's not a matter of, oh, listen who's old, because no, this is a new technology and we're not setting the rules. We're just saying, hey, this is something you should be aware of. I've given up on hats in restaurants. Like nobody I sit with will ever have a cap on in a restaurant unless it's the kids, probably not the grandkids. Colin doesn't know what to do because he's being told by his parents that it's okay, but he's also getting the side eye from grandma. So, I mean, I have
Right.
to defer to the parents' rules. And ours is, I guess, antiquated. Everybody wears a ball cap in a restaurant now. But it used to be if you wore one in a clubhouse at a golf course, you were on the hook for everybody's drinks. I don't know if that
Right.
holds anymore.
Well, at least, I'm going to give you an at least. At
Yep.
least a ball cap doesn't make noise.
There you go. That is the
Yes.
stoic way to, to look at it. There you go. Thank you, ball caps. Thank you. Okay, Lisa, so I'm out the other night with two new friends from down here, and we went to hear this amazing Toronto duo called Free Play Duo. And they do this thing where they just sing into the microphones and then it automatically records and they start singing and layering and layering and layering and with their own percussion, mouth produced. It's incredible. He teaches at Humber College. She is a freelancer. They're both very much involved in choir and stuff in the whole GTA. Again, freeplayduo.com. I bought both of their albums.
Oh, nice.
Their last song was Smile by Charlie Chaplin, which of course made
Mhm.
me cry because that's just the kind of song it is. And one of the ladies I was with when we were getting up to leave, I said, "Oh, sorry." And I was wiping my eyes and I said, "I leaked." And she said, "You leaked?" And I said, "Don't say that loud." I mean, we're sitting on red velvet cushions. I said, "They'll check the chairs at our age." She said, "Well, with our flat arses, we could use those. Depends." And that's where it hit me, Lisa, our
Oh,
billion-dollar idea. So, I've gone online and bought underwear that have padding to give my butt a little bit of shape. And
yes.
also, it helps when you're flying WestJet and airlines where the seats are rock hard, okay? So,
Mhm.
shapely undergarments that are leak protection and give you a booty. What do you think?
So, like, depends with butt cheeks
Yes,
on each one.
yes.
Okay, so here's my question. I think it's a billion-dollar idea, no question.
Okay, you be Arlene Dickinson. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. One, how much more expensive would it be to put butts on the pads? And is that going to take the cost out of what people would spend? But the other thing is, what if they just came with, like, each box, for example, had like a slit in it and you
Yes,
stuff pads in
right?
each time so that you don't have to replicate the pads as often? It doesn't cost as much. That way it's kind of like putting a little chiclet in your bra.
Yep, a chicken cutlet. Yep.
Yeah, what I call it, a chiclet?
Mine look like chiclets unless I put in a cutlet. Those are quite the square nipples you have there, Lisa.
I was just thinking that your nipples are square and tiny. Anyway, I think you've got something there. I really do.
Yeah, okay, so underwear that absorbs but gives you a bit of a booty lift. There we go. All right, somebody's going to steal that. You wait, it's going to be Mama Kardashian or Kris Jenner or one of
Right.
those.
Right.
Oh,
Oh, no, she won't admit that she's
no,
older, so I don't think she wants
no,
to get
I
into
think
that.
not.
Jane Fonda, maybe.
Oh my God, that would be brilliant. Oh, Grace and Frankie could have made some money on that one too. But speaking of million-dollar or billion-dollar ideas, I don't think they're billionaires. I don't know if making money is Kathy and Kim's aim at Envy Pillow. Somehow it'd be nice, but that's not the point.
Mm. I think you're right. I think they have a bigger mission, and that is to bring a product to market, which they have done, which really helps people. And it came from a wish of helping people. They didn't say, we've got a pillow. How can we make it look good? They thought about helping people first and realized a pillow was the way to do it. So I think you're absolutely right because it is sustainable. They've done everything with ecology and the environment in mind and with aligning people's spines and keeping their necks supported and helping skin, you name it. If that pillow could make
Yep.
coffee, they would figure out a way.
Oh, can you just imagine?
Yeah,
Oh,
the little straw. Yeah.
yes. Find out more at envypillow.com about these two incredible women who turned down Dragon's Den and did it on their own. And of course, their products come with guarantees. You'll learn it all at envypillow.com and use the code GF for girlfriends for 10% off. So it seems like a new door may be opening for Americans who want to be Canadians, like not the poser hosers who are wearing Maple Leaf stuff on their travel gear, but real people who have ties to Canada. And that was an interesting story that you came across.
Well, it used to be tougher. It used to be that if an American had, say, a Canadian heritage, like a parent or something, one generation back,
Mhm.
they could get themselves into Canada and work to become a Canadian citizen. But now it's open to anywhere. If they can prove it, if they can prove any time in their history that they've been touched by a Canadian, they can apply. It's not a guarantee that they're going to get it, but there is so much interest in it for obvious reasons because of what's going on in the US that people are grasping onto this bit of Canadiana and saying, yeah, I want to come and be a Canadian citizen instead. And they're predicting, the citizenship people are predicting, it could be tens of thousands of people. Right now, it's an 11 to 12-month wait just to even get processed because there are so many people who are applying because they want to be Canadians.
Heading for the hills.
Can't really blame them. I mean, if it was reversed, I could totally see finding any way to move away and get away from all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you consider Canada getting away. I mean, it all depends on where the madman wakes up, spins the bottle, and decides he's going to target on any given day. That's the total insanity of the times that we're living in.
I agree with you. The thing is, he's not living here. And somehow that makes a difference.
Yes.
I don't know how, but
Yeah.
but somehow that makes a difference. Like, I don't know what it's like to, well, I guess I kind of do because there's a lot of division here about what's going on. People who aren't paying attention are comparing our prime minister to the previous one.
Yeah.
But to look at your neighbor and go, you did this. Like, that's got to be hard
Mm-hmm.
because he's affecting the whole world. It must be really difficult. So I say the more the better if they've got something to contribute, if they're genuinely interested in being a part of Canada. And, you know, we need scientists, we need all sorts of people.
Yep. Doctors, nurses, and
Doctors.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Oh my God. You told me something about your doctor. Don't worry, it's not the exam procedures or anything. That just
No.
blew me away. And that is, well, I'm going to let you tell it.
Well, she uses an AI program, an artificial intelligence program, and every time I come in, even though I've given her consent, she always asks, is it okay if I run the AI? And I always say yes. So what it does is listens to our conversation, and if there's something in my history that has to do with what we're talking about, it pulls it up. If it has an idea, just to make sure, like a sort of almost a second opinion, if she's already saying, well, maybe, you know, we're dealing with this, it will have already probably pulled it up as an example. Oh, have you asked about this? Could it be this?
Oh,
But what I really love is the history thing because let's face it, I mean, my doctor's great, and she's just a person. She's just a human. So she's got to sit there and scroll through my whole history and go, oh, you had this done in this year and this done in this year. And how many patients does she see a day? We expect so much of them, and we should, but the AI will go, boop, she had a colonoscopy 2 years ago, or boop, you put her on this medication 8 years ago,
or
or
boop, her nipples look like chiclets. Look into that.
that's right. But we decided to overlook that. And it's really pretty cool. So after we're done talking, she goes over to her computer, or she may already be sitting there, and she just clicks stop. And then this stuff comes up that the AI has said, okay, hey, did you notice this? Have you asked about this? She had this 7 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And it's just stuff that she may have already thought of, but maybe she didn't. And it's like having an extra doctor in the room.
It absolutely is. And of course, now that I'm in season 6 or 7 of ER, just binging like crazy, you realize how many things do fall through the cracks. And your doctor's appointments have to be a certain amount of time. You don't have an hour and a half to sit down with her.
That's right. There's a full waiting room, and you can't just. In fact, I remember a doctor I had years ago when it was when his wife took over running the operation. She had signs up, really angry kind of signs saying, limit your visit to 2 things.
Yeah.
If you bring up a third, it won't be dealt with and stuff like that. And you could understand it because she wanted to keep things moving. And he was such a nice guy that he would just let people talk forever.
AI alongside. Now, did you have any qualms at all? I'm trying to think of why people would say absolutely not.
It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I know that it's a privacy issue for some people. Some people are worried about what's going to happen with it if it's stored somewhere. I just do not care. I don't have a life insurance policy someone's going to cancel. I don't have benefits that someone's going to take away.
Right,
I'm not
right.
worried about it.
That's a good point. What if the AI was listening and sent it to your HMO in the States and said, this person's much sicker than they're letting on, cancel their insurance? Aha. You've brought up the
Hmm.
dark side, which of course would be the US health system. Very interesting.
I think it might be a legitimate concern for some people,
Yep.
but it's not for me.
Here's a little lost in translation story for you. We were in a beer garden the other night listening to a fantastic band. There was like a table of about 20 of us from the complex here in Nuevo Vallarta, near peaceful Puerto Vallarta. And our little threesome was getting ready to leave. And one of our gals, Jeannie, put her finger up to our amazing server, Victor. Well, Victor brought her another glass of wine. And what Jeannie wanted was la cuenta, por favor, the bill, because in Mexico, you don't get the bill brought to your table until you ask for it. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. It is, because I remember when we, with Kalita and that lovely woman we met from Georgia, was she, I think?
Oh, Susanna.
I remember when we were all sitting there after dinner and the server was standing there with his arms folded, just sort of looking at us. And I thought, why isn't he getting the bills? It just seemed really weird. And I leaned over and she says, oh, honey, they don't bring you the bill till you ask them for it. They hope you're going to order more. It's kind of neat in a way, but it's also like, hey, we're not going to stop you until you stop yourself.
Yep. So we learned that, and then Jeannie learned that you have to mouth la cuenta, the bill, because she ended up with that extra glass of wine. So we were waylaid that evening, and she was way out the next day, poor thing. Which is why it's always so important to hear the percolator. Yay! And Claire, our dear, dear listener and friend Claire Cascone, has bought us 5 copies. Thank you, Claire.
And don't you love the reason why? Someone gifted her a coffee cake and she's paying it forward. And I did point out to her in my reply to Claire that we also like cake. But the coffees are awesome. Thank you so much, Claire.
If you'd like to buy us a copy, feel free. We will always be grateful. Just go to gracefullyandfrankly.com. It's a little icon down on the bottom left, and we're happy to acknowledge you, and we will always be grateful. Oh, dear Lisa, it's time. It's that time of the week again for This Week in Totally Stupid or Twist. That was almost harmony. You go, girl.
Almost. Oh, my goodness. So it's got to be Timothée Chalamet this week, the actor who said that no one's watching ballet or opera anymore, and everyone who watches ballet and opera is in an uproar over it, and it hasn't died down. He has been just, and I mean, what's his movie about?
Oh, yeah. Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live, I think, explains that pretty perfectly.
Timothée Chalamet is being criticized by opera and ballet organizations after he said that no one cares about those art forms. Chalamet made the comment on a press tour for his movie about ping pong.
Exactly. It's ping pong.
Yeah.
So Chalamet's on a podcast with Matthew McConaughey, and as he's saying, he's glad not to be part of a dying art form like opera or ballet, and McConaughey is going, and that just caught fire. But it's not the first time. He's said this several times, and he comes from a family steeped in ballet.
Yeah, and he's also part Kardashian, though, right? Because Kylie Jenner is his girlfriend. So, and the one hand, when I first heard it, I thought, I'll give him a pass. He's just young. He's over 30.
Yeah.
He's not that young. It's time for him to just shut up about things he doesn't know about. Now, it's true, compared to movies, opera and ballet don't get the kind of audiences and rush to the theater. But people who love it, love it.
Yes.
And there's no need to diss one to make yours look better, which happens to be movies. I don't understand.
Yeah, and there's an experience in opera or ballet, any live theater where we're all in it together and the frisson of excitement and emotion and just being swept up in something so much bigger than ourselves. Plus, you're not listening to somebody talking back to the screen or looking at their phones. There's an etiquette, and here we go back
Yeah.
to etiquette. And there are places where it still matters. And if that sounds elitist, it's not meant to. I love a good movie as much as anybody else. I don't care. But just as long as it's
Right.
fun and special and worth your money.
A bunch of opera companies and some ballets have taken
Yes.
advantage, though.
Yes. In
Yeah.
Seattle, the Seattle Opera offered 14% off for tickets. And there's been an upswing in sales for ballet and opera tickets. So thank you, Chalamet. You won't win the Oscar this Sunday, which you were going for. That'll be Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, I think. And of course, Sunday, the Oscars. Are you going to watch?
Well, I was just thinking that Chalamet might become a verb for something to revive.
Right.
I will watch. I will definitely watch the monologue and the first couple of awards, and then after that, find out the next day who said what and what was worth it. Yeah.
Sure.
I love Conan O'Brien, though, so yeah.
He's the best. And I'm going over. Rob will arrive on the plane Sunday afternoon, and then we're going to have a little Oscar watch party at our friend Kalita's. And
Great.
so I will have seen the whole thing. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, just our final few days here in Mexico. It's been so special, but it will be good to get back to Canada.
Yeah. Canada will be happy to have you back as well.
Okay.
Can the dogs still speak English, or are they fully Spanish now?
Well, I say hola perros or hola perritos when I get home, and they still look at me like they don't understand anything, which is about the usual expression. So, no sé, Lisa, no sé. I don't know.
They're so wonderful. Well, have a wonderful weekend, and I shall talk to you next week.
That's right. This Sunday, the Paralympics end, the Oscars are going, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.